Hey guys, welcome back. Well, we're trying to come up with a plan, and at this stage we're thinking we need to start cutting more metal off the car to get ready for the cage, but also to lightweight the vehicle. And I think we're about to go ham and cheese on this. I think we're about to cut parts off the car that most people would not remove, but I'm just trying to take a logical engineering understanding of what this metal is and what it's doing, and some of this metal seems optional. So we're probably going to be removing some bits and pieces here and there. We're kind of looking at the back right now. So for example, okay, here's an easy one. Fuel tank. I think it's like 12 gallons roughly. Supposedly it weighs 22 pounds or 24 pounds empty. And we're drag racing an eighth of a mile or maybe a quarter mile at a time. So we obviously don't need a 12-gallon steel fuel tank. So we're gonna take it out. Unfortunately, that's a difficult proposition. We got to drop the entire subframe out of the car, which I've had the front subframe out, but not the rear. So we're about to pull all this crap apart. Another thing, this badass fan shroud heat exchanger assembly. It's got these sweet clamps and awesomeness that we haven't even ran yet. I think that's coming out of the car. I still need it. I still need the cooler. Okay, let me rephrase. It's coming out of this location. I think we're going to move it to the front. So when I built this, I already knew that this was kind of not legal in the rules, but this is a great spot to put it for drag racing. But the rules technically say you're not allowed to do this. It's got to be up at the front of the car, unless it was here from the factory, and this wasn't. So we're probably going to move it because I don't want to get... I'm probably going to piss some people off at the track, and I don't want a legit reason for them to say I can't race. So that's kind of frustrating, but I think we're going to remove a lot of this hit back here anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, like all this metal back here, I don't know what this does. I guess it seals the trunk, which doesn't really matter. So my goal is, since this is a race car, it needs to be structural enough to hold the bumper on. That's kind of about it. So all the steel back here seems kind of just adding weight. So I know there's a little bit that retains the tail lamps. There's something for a license plate, which we obviously don't need. We got two of these. I gotta think about this because we are gonna need to strap this thing down to the trailer, but this is way overkill. Like, these things are beefy, they're awesome. Like, that looks like 1/8 inch, sorry. Turn the light on. There we go. This is like 1/8 inch steel. This is probably 1/2 inch steel. I mean, it's certainly adequate, but it's kind of ridiculous. This whole thing probably weighs a few pounds and there's two of them. So we're gonna cut a bunch of crap out of here. Like back here, this little box, like I can flex this with my hand. All this metal is just kind of worthless. These hangers, we don't even have exhaust anymore, so those can go. So anyway, we're just gonna cut a ton of metal off this car. I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet. I'm seriously considering taking right here and just go slice and basically just chop all of this off the back of the car and only leave the metal that has to do with the body panels. So my goal, the goal with all this is I want to be able to install, like, you know, the fenders, the bumpers, the trunk lid, the hardtop, etc., the tail lights, all that stuff. I want it to look just like a regular Miata on the outside, but however, underneath the covers is nothing else I don't care about. Light as possible. So to that end, almost all this metal in the back could technically come out of here. Even where the taillights go, I could probably trim most of that out of there and just have a couple of bolts holding the taillights in, and that's all it would take. So for now, we're gonna start removing. We know we're 100% sure we're taking this fuel tank out. So all the rear subframe and all this has to come out because the fuel tank drops out of the bottom. So we got a lot of work ahead of us, or at least some work. I've never pulled all this, so we're gonna get going with that. Go ahead and unhook these hoses, probably remove that heat exchanger, get the gas tank out of there, and kind of go from there. But yeah, I'll have more info, you know, there'll be some other shots, but we're gonna cut a lot of this out of here. It's kind of really getting behind this whole make it a race car, make it lightweight. And what's cool is when we get all this useless metal out of the way, I won't feel as bad about adding metal to strengthen the car and do things that are useful, because a lot of this metal doesn't really, I don't know what this is for, but I don't think it's doing much for us. Like up in here, like look at all these weird Like, that's an inner wheel well, sure, but then there's this layer and there's this layer, and I mean, these are real skimpy, thin. Can't imagine those are doing much. So we're gonna get rid of a lot of this.